Hope you're doing good. Micah back with another video. Back here to talk about Samsung's Good Guardians app. Another app that really is a nice kind of accessory app to Good Lock. And even though it doesn't have anything to do with Good Lock, it's another customization app that Samsung has provided for their Galaxy devices. So that way we can get the most of our devices, not just from a customization in terms of personalizing your device, but from a fundamental systematic approach, being able to customize the use case of your battery, to be able to get the most out of your app performance, to be able to handle your files in a better way, to track your battery health, to break down and or change, alter how you want apps to run in the background on your device. That's what Good Lock or Good Guardians rather brings to our Samsung Galaxy devices. So here in 2025, I did want to do a refresher on that, and let's talk about Good Guardians that you can find within your phone very simply. Now, what in the world? Oh, okay. And as you guys can see right there, if you saw briefly, my photo ambient mode is actually working on my lock screen, and it's now more sunset based, which is very, very nice. So shout out to Samsung's photo ambient actually working and doing its thing, and actually has been consistent for the most part. Now let's get into Good Guardians. Now, if we want to jump into the Galaxy Store, you can find it in here. This is just one of the modules right there. But if we want to jump on over here to the search function and type in Good Guardians, Good Guardians pops up right there at the top. And if you click on it, it pretty much is going to give you a quick highlight as to what it is if you come down here, and it does now have support for One UI 7, which is great. But privileged utilities for your Galaxy. Good Guardians provides privileged utilities for your Galaxy. These utilities are ready for you. So as I mentioned and preface before, battery tracker, battery guardian, Galaxy app booster, thermal guardian, which is a great module, memory guardian, media file guardian. Those are the guardian apps that you're going to find within Good Guardians. So without further ado, let's open it, and you're greeted with this very simple menu right here, which maybe gets tweaked with One UI 7, because I know Good Lock has gotten tweaked with One UI 7. And so without further ado, let's kind of go into these one by one, so that way I can show you guys what these are really good for. And let me know down in the comment section below, do you use Good Lock? Have you thought about using Good Guardians? Are you going to use it now after watching this video highlighting the benefits of Good Guardian? So let's jump into battery tracker. And as it says right there, it allows you to see what's been going on your device. And as you see there, from full to zero, it lets you know. And you can track your battery usage. And this is really like the most apps that have been used. And so as you guys can see here, all the apps that have been used on my phone are being tracked with this app, which is great. And if you wanted to, you can actually come up here and select your period time. So if you want to, you can actually change your period of time to actually get a little more focused as to what you are trying to pay attention to, especially if you're trying to find apps that may be draining your battery, or if you're just looking to simply diagnose your battery. You can actually be more specific with the time periods in which you want to choose in order to find and or troubleshoot your battery woes. The other part you can actually do here with this is actually go from battery usage to active time, the amount of time actively spent on and in certain apps. And so you see, I usually go between Chrome and Samsung Internet, but when I'm doing a lot of searching for things, it's usually going to be Chrome because of Google's extension with Chrome. So whenever you ask Google for something or type in Google for something, you're doing research, you're doing just looking up general information, it's always going to pretty much pivot to Chrome outside of the Google app, and I have to manually kind of go into Samsung Internet to actually do more of my search-based or web activities. And so as you guys can see, that's what you're going to see here. And I think, what is the time period on this? Because, okay, so this is between, I guess, 6 o'clock yesterday, I would imagine, and 6 o'clock today, so a 24-hour window. So that's pretty nice to see that you get a 24-hour window for your time. And as you see right here, it tells you 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. So 24-hour use case for battery tracker. You get to see exactly what's going on with your battery in a 24-hour span. And so I like that a lot. And then if you want to, you could go further. Instead of the last 24 hours, you're going to do the last 7 days. And as you see, YouTube is always a culprit for me because that's where I spend most of my time. I don't really watch TV. I watch YouTube, which is the new TV, including having YouTube TV now, which is also more expensive than I wanted it to be, but nonetheless still a great app and great new source to watch content, especially when you don't watch cable, you just watch the main channels and you want to do a little VOD or video on demand. YouTube TV is a great source for that. And so this is battery tracker, being able to track everything that's going on your phone within 24 hours or even within a 7-day span. That is battery tracker. Battery Guardian is where you get that more granular, more systematic approach and tweaking to your battery. And so if you come in here, you can do app power saving, right? 5 battery dynamic events have been found in the last 110 days. So thankfully, it's only been 5 events within the last 110 days. And if I click on it, it tells you what's going on. Setting suggestions, reminder, and maps have all been my, I guess, outstanding battery situations. And I like the fact that it actually keeps track of that, so that way if I need to make adjustments, I could. And by clicking the setting menu up at the top here, you see you have sleeping apps, deep sleeping apps, and never auto sleeping apps, meaning you get to tweak apps that should go to sleep, that should never go to sleep, and one that you doggone near want to disable with the deep sleeping function. I like that Samsung gives you this capability with this app. You can also do auto dim, which I have on. This extends your battery life by dimming the screen quickly when there are no changes or touches to the screen. So let's say I'm using my phone as basically like a remote control to YouTube on my TV. And if in between me selecting different videos to watch, if I'm not touching my phone and I just kind of leave it, put it down, it will auto dim my display for me, so that way I will actually maintain and or keep battery life from that perspective, because it doesn't have to push brightness so hard on my display. Again, it's those subtle little tweaks that you can make to your battery that actually saves you battery, which that will still not really impede or interrupt you being able to get the most out of your phone and the features that they have. And since I have a Fold 6, I want to make use of my screens. I want to make use of my displays, but when I'm not using them, having these little small modules and features activated helps me being able to minimize needless battery drain. Standard refresh rate apps. Of course, I have it off because I want my 120 hertz, but you can extend battery life by applying a standard refresh rate for each app. So you can actually come in here and actually, I believe, you could choose which apps you want to use in standard refresh mode. So if you don't want 128 hertz for all your apps, you can come in here and tweak that app by app. That's very nice, because that even takes it out of the whole LTPO functionality of the displays we have, which kind of range between 1 hertz and 120 hertz. And what you can actually do is tweak that even further to base off of what app you're in. So I really like the fact that they have that ability there. And I also like screen curtain, which really helps with YouTube. Extends battery life applying screen curtain mode when operation is maintained for a long period of time without viewing the screen. And so something like this is really good. Let's see, add quick button. Yep, it's in my quick settings. So you can actually activate it yourself if you needed to. And this will put the screen in a doze state when apps operate for a long time. Try it out. And so if I swipe down, I could have swiped from the right to get here a lot faster. But if I swipe, you should be able to see screen curtain right there. And so once I click on that, it'll actually black out my display. Nothing's going on. Nothing went to sleep. Just my display went pitch black. Thus, again, saving more battery life for my Galaxy Fold 6 or my Galaxy device in general. And I like that. And you can also have it within the accessibility buttons as well. So again, Samsung really thought this out when it came to these modules that we can use to improve our overall use case with our Galaxy devices. Then you also have network power saving. Extends battery life by applying network power saving mode for each app. Another great app, because if you're in here, the selected apps will not use 5G data when mobile data usage is low. So you could come in here and again tweak on an app by app basis apps that really need 5G data use and apps that don't need 5G data use. And that's another way for you to curtail battery life drain by being able to tweak each app's performance. And really, if you wanted to get super granular, you could do like every single app. But I would also recommend, I almost fell. I would also recommend, think about the most used apps that you have, and then really kind of, contemplate or discern which app you need 5G data use for and ones that you don't. And that's the same with the whole 60 hertz as well. Find specific apps that you use that you really don't need 60 hertz for. Again, you can go super technical and access every single app. But if I were you, I would just like look at your top 10, 15 apps that you use, adjust those because those are the ones you use the most, and that will actually help your battery life in the long run. I don't make use of either one of those because I like my 120 hertz and I want my network blasting all the time. That's just me. But if I ever wanted to make those changes, I could with those two capabilities. Power saving during bedtime. Of course, I use this. Extends battery life by automatically optimizing and limiting performance during sleep. Since my phone's not in use, I don't need it blasting. So that's the one time my phone gets to relax and chill, and I'm not having to needlessly waste battery just because, I want my phone on standby mode blazing at 120% speeds all the time. Don't need that. Not when I'm asleep. And so that's what I like. And then, of course, when you wake up, when you start using it, everything gears right back into activity. And you can even set your sleep time so that way it knows, oh, your phone is really about to kind of tone down a little bit during this period of time. Let's make sure that that's set so that way the phone knows, let's calm down during this period of time because you sleep. And after that, or outside of that time period, we're going to spark it back up. And then, of course, you can even extend battery life here by optimizing settings that are a lot of battery, that use a lot of battery power. So if we click on this, here you go. You can actually come in here and toggle all the things that you pretty much have running that does drain a lot of or that drains more battery life than normal and than typical, and tweak those even more so if you wanted to. So you guys want to get a good picture of that right there. As you guys can see, go ahead, jump in there, the Battery Guardian, and you can tweak your battery to your heart's content. The next app is what I like is that's the Gallery app, or the Galaxy App Booster. And what this does is analyzes your apps and it lets you know by optimizing how much additional performance you get out of your apps. Now, because I've already done a reset and I've already optimized, my performance jump is going to be very small. It's going to be about 5%. But usually after a software update or a hard, kind of reset or reboot, this number can actually jump up to 15%, which is actually more of a sizable performance boost to your apps. And so that's what I like about this app is that it makes sure all your apps are really kind of good to go, ready to run, ready and loaded properly, so that way you can use them with very little issues or no issues at all. And then the time it takes for all your apps to actually be boosted is right there, and this shows 5 minutes. And that's because everything's pretty well boosted, so it's not going to take long. Your phone does heat up some because it's boosting your apps, it's running all your apps, getting them ready to go, and so you will feel heat dissipating from your device, which is normal. So I just want to put that out there. But I also like this app a lot because, again, everything runs very smoothly after using this app, or this module, I should say, and that's Galaxy App Booster. Thermal Guardian, another low-key hitter right here. This allows you to see your CPU use or your chip use, your threshold, the heat of your chip. And as you see, mine's always pretty much, normal. It never really spikes and gets super duper hot or anything like that. And although it's had moments where it's even spiked to like normal, it really still stays relatively low for the most part. So I have good trending data to see how my CPU is doing in terms of temperature in my phone. If I wanted to go to CPU usage, this will also let you know what's going on here. And again, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing crazy. Everything's good. If I show temperature, which was what we saw on the previous menu, you'll see how everything kind of aligns appropriately. And based off that graph, I have no issues with my CPU. But let's say I wanted to get more out of it. Well, I do. The thermal threshold, I actually bumped it up all the way to its max, and that is by 2 degrees Celsius. And so if you want to do the Celsius to Fahrenheit, math, I think that may be like 5 to 10 degrees difference or something like that. So I will allow my CPU to run hotter to gain more performance out of my phone overall, and that's why I increased it to its full max, and I wish I could go further. Now, if you don't want it, you want your phone to run as cool as possible, and you're not really concerned with getting all that power out of your device, then you bump it the other way and actually lessen how hot it gets. And of course that will affect performance, but you will actually get maybe more longevity out of your CPU, out of your battery life, and out of your device overall. Or you could just leave it in the middle where it was prior to making any adjustments. And so that's what I like about Thermal Guardian. It gives you, again, even more customization for your device. And up here, you can restrict apps if you wanted to. So if based off what you've seen in battery tracker, you could come in here and restrict apps to also help minimize any thermal gains based off of apps that may cause your phone to run hot. And if we click on the tip here, limit CPU boosting when heating. So CPU boosting is a function that uses a lot of resources instantaneously. If you use CPU boosting during heating, thermal can be going up fast. You can lower the CPU boosting level in the heat situation through additional setting and quickly cool the thermal. You can decrease maximum brightness when heating. That will help with heating. And you can turn off 5G if the data is low when screen is on. And so for me, I don't use either one of those because, again, I want my phone to run maximum capacity. And if you click on additional settings, this is where you get some of that's going on there. So for me, the only one I have toggled on is to decrease maximum brightness when heating. That's the only one I'm concerned about at most because that's where you do notice a little bit of jitteriness, a little bit of lag when the phone gets hot and you have brightness maxed out, due to maybe ambient lighting. You'll notice that the phone will start to kind of run slow a little bit. So that's the only one I have toggled on. But you can toggle limit CPU boosting when heating. You can also do apply standard motion smoothness when heating. And you can turn off 5G data if the data usage is low when screen is on. I used to toggle that one, but to me now it's not really big a deal. I mean, 5G is more normalized now. And so for me, I don't have to use that one, but if you want to, that will again all go towards improving your phone use and personalizing it to you that much more. Memory Guardian is a good one. When you think about device care, you get that. If we actually go over here, because I could show it to you real quick. If we go to settings, we go to device care. Once it pops up here, and you come in here to memory, you have your standard memory options right here. As it checks, it shows you what's going on. You can clean now if you wanted to, and you see it free up four gigs of RAM. And if you want to view more apps, you get to view them in here, no problems. You have memory resident apps. I don't even know what this means. Let's see, run in the background at all times. Sometimes this is necessary for an app to work correctly. However, too many memory resident apps can slow down your phone. So I don't actually have anything going on there. Maybe that's a special use case. And I don't even really use my RAM Plus, even though I have 8 gigs. I don't really use it like that. And here, I don't really have excluded apps other than YouTube. I want YouTube to run supremely well with no problems. So if we swipe back on over here now to Good Guardian, and we open Memory Guardian, you're going to get a more sophisticated menu of what I just showed you. And this is going to give you a detailed use of everything that's in use, how much gigs are in use, how much you can clean, and what apps you actually want to clean out of your RAM, especially if it's an app maybe you're not using, you're not running, you don't mind closing it out or just removing it from RAM. You can actually jump in here and do that, which includes some system app settings as well. And so that's the additional control you get with this Memory Guardian module. And then if you want to, you come over here and see the history of what's going on with your phone, and you have your cached versus running versus system. And here, device performance is in good condition when the sum of memory size in running and system category less than 80% of total memory size. If it keeps over 80%, reboot your device or force stop unused devices. And so as you see, I'm not even close to 80%. So I'm still doing very, very well with my memory or my RAM usage when it comes to my apps. And that's because I don't have a lot of apps on my phone. I don't keep a lot of apps. I'm very kind of particular with how I use my phone. And so that's probably why I just normally don't have any issues with RAM on my device. If you click on tip, this will let you know the processes in cached are not currently in use and are being kept to improve the re-entry performance of the process. Processes in cache can be available memory whenever necessary. So that's just a tip to put out there if you do decide to make some changes. And how do you do that? Well, if we click on over here to customize, this is where the fun begins. This is where you can keep it default how Samsung has manufactured the phone to swap between apps in the background and in the foreground. Or you can change it to quick switching mode, which I have on. This keeps more apps in the background. When using the previously used app again, it is more likely to run with the last state of the app, not starting from the beginning. And so that's what I like about quick switching. But then you can also do speed up top app mode, where maybe you don't use a lot of apps. So this will clean up memory to secure empty space on a regular basis. When using an app that uses a lot of memory, it will help to prevent slowing down due to memory loads. It is recommended if you use the game frequently or use a small number of apps. I use, even though I don't have a lot of apps on my phone, I do use, quite a few apps, or the apps that I do use, I use, but they're not like crazy intensive apps. Now, if you use your phone like this, or let's say you have Battery Guardian or Good Guardians installed on your tablet, I would probably suggest using speed up top app mode, because if you have a tablet and you most likely aren't using a lot of apps, or you use your tablet to use very intensive apps like maybe some video editing apps or gaming apps or streaming apps, well, speed up top app mode will actually help you with those apps, because it will save your memory for those apps so that way you don't have any issues using those apps. When I was using my Galaxy tabs or my Galaxy tablets to do my video editing before I finally moved to a laptop, I used Memory Guardian and I used speed up top app mode to make the most out of DaVinci Resolve when it came. Well, not DaVinci Resolve, LumaFusion. LumaFusion on my tablet, on my Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. And when I used Power Director back in the day, I used this to make sure that that video editing app ran the best at all times, and I never had any issues. And so Samsung definitely knows what they're doing when it comes to these apps, when it comes to using these modules. Use them to the best of your abilities, because it will help you get the most out of your phone when tinkering with the right toggles. And last but not least, an app that I don't use that much, and that's because I don't mind using the actual Files app, but that's Media File Guardian. And what this would do is basically come in here and show you where all your apps are. And if you click on it, it'll let you know what's in there. And you can click on it, and then you can even from there delete files that you don't need. And then you also have the option to enter your trash if you needed to. If you wanted to get rid of what you deleted, this is a great place to go. If not, you can use the Files app and do the same thing. To me, this feels like the Files app kind of condensed into a module within Good Guardians. And if you click on settings here, you'll see you can show your temporary files, original files for edited version, missing date, apps that add file, and full check media database. And so again, this is at your fingertips to use based off of what you want to see and how you want to use your Galaxy device. And Samsung has made some tweaks between 2024 and 2025 with some of those features that are within each module, which I'm definitely appreciative for, and I'm glad that they did. And we'll see how this app turns out with One UI 7 going forward throughout 2025, and what else Samsung may have in store for us with Good Guardians. So again, let me know down in the comment section below, do you use Good Guardians? Are you thinking about using it now that you've seen what this app can really do for your Samsung Galaxy device? The comment section is open for discussion. But again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so all free. That way you never miss my videos. So you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. And don't forget to hit that super thanks button down about a like or dislike button, Cash App and PayPal, and check the channel out for all the videos available to you. That's where to keep tech fresh and alive on this channel. It's your man Micah signing out, and until the next video, wait for it.